and welcome back to another episode of Dragon Age, Cousland. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been very, very busy. I don't know if we got any codexes to read, but anyway, we're here in camp. I believe that was our last episode here. I'm just checking out characters here while I'm talking, but yeah, so I think right now what we'll do is we'll talk to some companions, give some gifts, and then we'll head out to the world. So let's go ahead, let's talk to Alistair first.
What do you need?
I would like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Let's see. So you said this Arl Eamon raised you.
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfels. A whole pack of them, in fact.
Really? That must have been rough for them.
Well, they were flying dogs, you see. Surprisingly strict parents, too. And devout Andrastians to boot.
And they raised by flying devout dogs, I see.
Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on the cold, hard ground, isn't it? Are you having strange dreams?
Oh yeah, only ones that were making mad love in my tent.
I think I'd completely lost my chain of thought. Oh, there it is. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arl Eamon wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
Why did he send you off to a Chantry?
Arl Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, the new Arlessa resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
What an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young.
And raised my dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Caelan's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Alright, codex. So basically, it just updated that, you know, the suspected reasons that her husband took Alistair in was because it was the son of Arl Eamon. Alright, and we got 5. And let's see. Any gifts? Yes.
I could get used to this, you know.
Oh, I know. Alright, let's go talk to Mark Spawn here.
Oh, why, you little...
What?
Your furry friend here took offense at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
Well, he is a war dog. Bye-bye.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me.
Yep, or keep you in your place, Alistair. Alright, let's go talk to our chantry friend. Let's actually save here quick. Okay. Can't have too many saves here.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What would someone like you be doing in a Lotharian chantry?
What is meant by someone like me?
Well, they don't teach you how to fight in a cloister, do they?
Did you think I was always a cloistered sister? The chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
Affirmed?
We affirm our belief in the Maker, in Andraste and the chant, but other than that, there are no vows taken.
So your skills were learned before your time in the chantry?
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course.
Sure.
Let's move on.
Alright, one more time.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What was life in the cloister?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Condescending? How so?
When I talked about my beliefs,
Excuse me.
that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
I prefer your ideas over the chantries.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
Perfect. Okay. I know we have some gifts for you. Let's see.
That's a wonderful thought. I don't know what to say.
Alright. Let's go here next. Levy Dryden.
You're a hard woman to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the coins? Levy the trader?
Well, we got this noble one here. Dryden's a black name. Your family lost its lands and titles.
But Tan Cousland's daughter should be well aware that in politics things are seldom as they seem. Say what you will of my family, we are ardent Warden supporters and have been since the beginning. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
How did you know Duncan?
It's a bit of a tale, that is. But I'm the one who brought the Grey Wardens back to Ferelden. Well, I was one of the ones. There were a lot of us. Maker's breath, I'm a bit nervous. Honoured to be here, really.
Go ahead and tell your tale.
After King Marek freed us from the Orlesians, the Grey Wardens begged the King's permission to come into Ferelden, some sort of internal business. Me and a mess of other Warden sympathisers spoke on behalf of your order. Tan Loghain was very much against letting Orlesian Wardens in the kingdom, but Marek, Andraste, bless him, was a fair-minded monarch and he let them in.
Go on, I'm listening.
So that's why I was there when the Wardens and their leader, Genevieve, presented herself to the King. The first Wardens in Ferelden in over a century. Proudest day of my life, that was. Duncan was a bit of a scamp back then. We were of an age and struck up a friendship. The king himself went with the wardens on their mysterious business. When he returned, he rescinded King Ardland's decree, and the wardens came back to Ferelden for good.
Merrick rescinded the degree just like that?
Marek was a bit of a visionary. A powerful mind, that one. In his travels with the wardens, he must have seen how important their cause was, and been moved by it.
And Duncan was the easy man to like.
That he was.
Let's see. I thank you for the part you were bringing in the wardens here.
Oh, his stomach's all aflutter. You're welcome.
What promise did Duncan make to you?
Well, as you know, my family's name is mud around noble circles. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last warden commander of Ferelden back when the wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arland banished the wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
What happened next?
Hard to say. After King Arland died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one, and our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
So what favor did you ask of Duncan?
I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honour.
Couldn't you go there by yourself?
Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arland's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honour.
See, how would reclaiming the peak help the wardens?
Soldier's Peak is strategic and symbolic importance. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there. He also hoped to recover lost warden history and perhaps a few old relics. No one knows what's up there now.
Why didn't Duncan go and help you?
Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got plenty busy recruiting new wardens and meeting with good King Caelan. Duncan said he would help after the Battle of Ostergar. Said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance.
What do you need me to do?
I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it, at least?
Your family's faith will be rewarded. I will help you.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Codex updated. So we have the history of Drydens. I'm completely sorry if I'm coughing and whatnot. It's a little dry in my house here. One moment. Alright. So in the years of following the siege of the Soldier Peak, all those who carried the Dryden name were hunted by King Arland's forces. Our noble Dryden name was smeared, and all the lands and holdings belonging to the Dryden were seized by the crown. The king feared that the rebellion started by Sophie would be kept alive by the loyal friends and family, and anyone with connections to the Dryden would suffer greatly. It is little wonder, then, that the few remaining Drydens found themselves with no allies and nowhere to turn. Tobin Dryden, Sophie's brother and guardian of her young son, had no choice but to flee for Ferelden. Tobin bought passage to Antivia on a merchant vessel and traveled under the name Dirkred. Once in Antivia, Tobin set about building a new quiet life for himself and his nephew. He started a small business and eventually made a name for himself as a trader. The Dakota merchant's family prospered, and the name of Dryden was almost forgotten. However, in 815 Blessed, Silverdreckard uncovered an old documents belonging to Tobin and pieced together the family's history. In her pride, and perhaps in her nativity, Sylvie reclaimed the name Dryden and returned to Ferelden. King Arlen lies dead, and the Dryden name lives on. Our family has survived, even thrived. Since the death of Sophia Dryden, there are noble Fereldans may still spit on the name Dryden's name. But we Drydens know that Sophia was a greater than them, and almost a queen and a hero to the people of Ferelden. From personal files of Levi Dryden, merchant. Okay, Sophie Dryden. Sophie Dryden is Ferelden's light and her most brilliant jewel. Nothing on this earth can ever quench her fire. Alessa Sophia Dryden was a young Arlen's rival for the throne of Ferelden. Dryden was a strong and charismatic leader with much support from the Banor. When Arlen finally won the crown, Dryden refused to relent. She pushed her claim, was caught, and accused of treason. Her sympathizers continued to support her, however. In order to please them, the Dryden was spared execution and was forced to join the Grey Wardens instead. Dryden survived the joining and dazzled the Grey Wardens at the Soldier Peak with her leadership skills and charm. She eventually rose through the ranks to become the Warden Commander of Ferelden. Before Commander Dryden of the Grey Wardens were seen as a relic of an old time and an unnecessary drain on the nobles' coffers. Dryden, through with her political connections, revigorated the Wardens and rapidly increased their numbers. In the meantime, the King Arlen provided himself as a devious king, willing to go to brutal lengths to silence his opponents. Arlen's reign of terror grew worse with each passing year, and some of the bands approached Commander Dryden in desperation, begging her to intercede. She agreed, and thus was the rebellion against the King Arlen born. Arlen learned of the rebellion and took steps to end it. He publicly suspended all dealings to the Grey Wardens and declared that they were no longer welcome in Ferelden. Some of the Grey Wardens, mindful that they were supposed to remain politically neutral, felt disgraced by Dryden's involvement in the Ferelden politics and left her side even as the king forced to laid siege to the Soldier's Peak. The siege took months and ended with the death of Sophia Dryden. From personal files of Levi Dryden, merchant. And now we have a new one here to do. And we have enchantment. Let's get rid of some of these saved ones here. And save. Okay. Let's go talk to our dwarf friends here.
Ah, it's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Feddick, at your service once again. I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Warden? I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
You're free to stay, just mind yourself.
Wonderful. Thank the kind lady, won't you, boy?
Thank you, kind lady.
We won't be a bother to you and your companions, I assure you. If you should need enchantments, simply talk to my boy. Otherwise, come speak with me.
Alright, let's talk.
If there's anything I can do for you, please tell me.
Let's persuade. So what's your story exactly?
I suppose since you told me about you being a Grey Warden, it's only fitting for me to be as open. I am originally from Orgrimmar, the famed dwarven city that lies beneath the stately Frostback Mountains. I was a merchant there too, merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose.
Lost glory?
Our kingdoms once spanned the length of Thados, from majestic Orzammar to Kal-Sharok to glittering Darmalin far to the west. They say the gold and silver veins ran so thick through the stone of Darmalin that the entire city sparkled. The Darkspawn took it all, of course. One by one, the old tigers fell, and then all that was left was Orzammar. But we were talking about how I ended up here, weren't we? One day, a noble woman came to my store. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the Darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that.
What happened then?
Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been paying these castless thugs to venture out into the deep roads for me. The lost tigers, they're full of things that people left behind. Sometimes you can find a treasure, something worth a little gold.
Better to do something with them than leave them to rot.
That's exactly how I see it. The noblewoman, she wasn't too happy with the theft of her brother's braces. I don't know what they planned for me, and I didn't want to find out. Bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the surface first opportunity I got. Never looked back.
Fascinating story, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, is there anything the boy or I can get you?
But where does these goods come from? Not the deep roads.
Look, we don't rob people, all right? We don't take things from people that need them. The things in the lost tigers, what good did they do lying there? I brought them back to Orzammar, where people could look at them and remember. It's not all that different up here. There are places long abandoned by the humans everywhere. Even more now with the Darkspawn coming.
What do you mean?
People flee from the Blight with good reason, but they forget things. Things with value and meaning. They leave them behind because they're frightened and desperate. And sometimes, my boy and I, we find our way to these places before the Horde descends, and we save these things. I take them away so the Darkspawn don't get them. Is that so bad? They destroy everything they touch.
I suppose it's better than having the Darkspawn take it off.
That's what I tell myself, too. Ah, these are dark times indeed. Dark times, my friend.
Oh, you didn't mention your son in your tale.
Ah, yes. I'm married to a fine woman back in Denerim, it's true. She'd give me a son if she could, but that's not likely to ever be. Sandal here. I found him in the deep roads years ago. Abandoned, I think, and he was never quite right in the head. I took him in, and I brought him with me when I came here to the surface. He may not be my blood, true, but I think of him as one.
We left Orzammar.
That's right, boy. Maybe one day we'll see it again.
Blood isn't all that important.
That's how I've always felt. As long as he's happy, so am I. It's not as if I don't benefit, mind you. Turns out the boy's a natural working with enchantments. He might have even been lyrium-addled. I never thought of that before, to be honest. Happens sometimes. He can work an enchantment into just about anything, however, given some time. Could probably open his own shop, if he knew how.
Enchantment.
Well, he does seem to enjoy it, at least.
I love Sandal. Alright, let's meet your wares.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected. And with your discount.
Sorry, I had to. And we're gonna be hearing that a lot. Alright, here. Something I want to keep. Alright, here. Oh, we'll hold on to it. We may come back later for some stuff. Okay, I want that right away for Liliana, but we'll wait. Let's get the important stuff first. Let's done here. We want that. We can sell that. Sell that. Let's see. Okay, well that. That and that. I think that was all on the side of sell too, right? 10. So 8. So this is going to be saved for a different, goodness, I can't think now. A different, things to do here. Man, I can't think. Well, I'm sorry.
Hello.
The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed.
What enchantments does he do?
He can fold lyrium into almost any weapon or piece of armor, though naturally some of the more extravagant materials will take more lyrium than others. It's a process that some of the master smiths back in Origins-Remaster will perform, but my boy here is just as adept at it. Isn't that right, boy?
Enchantment!
And there you have it.
I want some enchanting done.
Enchantment!
Alright, so 1 and 2. Okay. So let's throw a good one right there. Oh, request. Yes, that's what I was. Ooh. I'm losing it, apparently. Alright. Save. Alright, let's go talk to our Kenori friend.
Why are we stopping?
I think we should talk for a moment.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
Are you alright? You were in a cage for weeks.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
Alright, we should get going.
As you wish.
Quick, easy answers for our Kenori friend, at least in the beginning here, and then we'll continue with him. I am going to give him shiny little bracelet.
Unexpected.
Which is 5,
Thank you.
And a tribal necklace.
Unexpected. Thank you.
Okay, that's close to 10. Alright, Morgan.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Let's do this right away. How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Oh, your mother has been doing this for a long time then.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shapeshifter?
Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell, and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Let's see. Did you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what does other animals think of your change?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
I've never heard magic like that before.
No?
Technically,
'Tis not
yeah.
unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
By practitioners, you mean apostates, don't you?
Not all apostates use the forbidden blood arts. Maleficarum do, but to condemn all who do not fall under the circle's thrall for the sake of what might be is a dangerous path to walk. There are those who look on the word apostate as meaning freedom.
That's all I wanted to know.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities sound quite useful.
A most practical opinion. Far more so than any man I have spoken to. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Yes, okay. So we're gonna give her one gift.
I am grateful.
We're going here.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Can you teach others to become shapeshifters?
I cannot teach you, no. But any other mages that cared to learn, yes, I could do that. Send whoever you wish my way, and I shall teach them what I can in the camp, provided they possess the will to even make the attempt.
And we got Specialization unlocked. Now, when I first played this, I thought I had to get her, like everybody else, all the way up, and realized that that's not the case, which is weird. It's a glitch. As far as I know, there's no mods to help you with that, but a little free tip: if you talk to her first about it and give her a little gift, then you're able to unlock it without having to spend the money on it. But with improved atmosphere, you're able to...
I am grateful. 'Tis thoughtful indeed.
get more equipment, more stuff, and more freedom in that aspect. Alright, let's go ahead. Alistair?
Yes.
Liliana?
Indeed.
And... yeah, you can come
Yes.
along. I don't care. Alright. We're going to Magi, and we gotta fight. Really? Oh. Oh, cool. Okay.
How did a child survive that? The crater is still smoking. It's a boy. 5 fingers, 5 toes. That's all that matters to me. The Maker has answered our prayers. Let's go home, Marta, and raise the Tyke as our own.
I always loved that part. they made it to kind of reflect Superman. Sweet. No fight. Pick up a thing that we can unlock later. Alright. So, here's where we're going to stop. Through the next playthrough, if you didn't look at the mod that I posted up, I do the skip the fade. I hate the fade. It's something that I just don't care to play through. It's long, tedious. If there was mod for the Origins-Remaster one, I would use that too. But anyway, so again, we're gonna end it here. And I'm sorry it's been forever since I uploaded a video. It's been fairly busy. Kids had their surgery. We're on our 2nd week. They're doing way better right now. But yeah, I just been with them instead of recording. But as they're getting better now, maybe I'll start doing some more recordings and editing. I did have this one saved and a couple other ones saved, and as I was adjusting some of the sim things to get that back up and going, I must have deleted those videos and recordings, so I'll have to go back and record those again. But anyway, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.